oh, many of you thought Trump was just being weird for some weird reason. It turns out Ghislaine Maxwell, who is definitely a trustworthy individual, by the way. Yeah, who could have seen this coming, guys? Who could have seen this coming? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Why don't you believe women, you misogynist? Yep, that's right. That's me. Ghislaine, 2 counts of perjury. Maxwell doing what she loves to do, aside from sex trafficking minors and pedophilic acts, which is perjuring herself. There it is. Nothing to see here, everybody. No one even wants to see the files anymore because it's like totally exonerated. Yeah, I said, Lamau, oh, I guess this was all just a big misunderstanding. Yeah, the person who lied in order to rape kids is definitely telling the truth about the president who likes to rape kids. Yeah, no, don't say that. No, totally exonerated, guys. You don't understand. The sex trafficker of minors said Trump is innocent, totally, in exchange for lenient sentencing, by the way. Like what are we doing? Of course it was going to go here. I've been saying that it was going to go here from the start, and now we're there. Was she actually exonerated? No, I'm joking, but that's where we're heading towards. Lenient sentencing in exchange for total exoneration of Donald Trump. They literally shut off all the avenues of investigation, all of the previous investigations that have been conducted into this matter, and the only thing that we have now is the word of the sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell. And how did we get this information? Oh, that's right. Donald Trump's lawyer, who now happens to be the deputy attorney general, went and had a private meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. What are we doing? What are we doing? Are you kidding me? This is insanity. It's total, utter madness. What the hell?
Latest on the Jeffrey Epstein case. We are learning more about Epstein associate Ghislaine.
Not to mention the FBI literally said they've redacted his name in thousands of instances in the documents. Okay. The FBI literally was like, dude, we ran out of Sharpie. Okay. We ran out of Sharpie when we were redacting Donald Trump's name. I wonder how we got here. How did this happen? Going after a woman and a Jew? I expect no less from you, Hassan. yeah, that's me. I'm being a misogynistic anti-Semite.
CBS News has learned Ghislaine Maxwell said nothing during her 9-hour meeting with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche in July.
Yeah. Todd Blanche. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, also known as Trump's literal lawyer, Todd Blanche. It's so funny that for years, Donald Trump and the Republicans kept talking about how the DOJ is so not impartial. The Department of Justice is totally working at the behest of Biden, totally working at the behest of the Democrats. Oh, such unfair prosecutions taking place. And then literally came in and was like, I'm making my lawyers, my own personal lawyers, my attorney general and deputy attorney general, and they're going to do whatever the they want. We are going after anyone and everyone that I do not like, and we're doing it openly. I can't believe your lack of charitability towards this new administration. Yeah. You know what, actually? The situation is so... This chatter is obviously being sarcastic, but the situation is so... This is not even an actual line of defense. At least in Trump 1, people will be like, oh, you hate Trump? Why? Because you want the country to fail? They're not even doing that anymore. This is so unimaginably indefensible. It's so transparently corrupt that even like the biggest dick riders of the admin can't even come up with like a reasonable way to dance around this issue. Okay? I'm sure they'll get their talking points eventually. They'll get their ducks in a row and they'll start blasting it over and over again. But for the time being, there's just not anything that you can do. There is nothing defensible about this, okay? This is complete indefensible behavior.
According to a source familiar with the exchange, she told the number 2 at the Justice Department that Trump, once a friend of the late child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, did nothing in her presence that would implicate him. That revelation comes as sources say top administration officials are discussing...
Guys, you don't understand. Totally innocent. Total exoneration. I love that they're posting this. I love that their statement comes along with this photo, though, which kind of makes the situation a little ridiculous, huh? Here is Donald Trump in 750 different photos with Ghislaine Maxwell. As Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony indicates, all of the times that Trump was around Ghislaine Maxwell, which was so numerous, so vast, he didn't do anything criminal ever. Nothing illegal whatsoever. Actually, Ghislaine Maxwell also apparently... Ghislaine Maxwell needs to throw more ridiculous shit in there. You know what? it. Just go all the way. Just be like, Trump actually was literally actively fighting pedophilia in my presence. He was saving orphans from a burning building. You're already doing it. You're already saying whatever the admin wants you to say, so you get lenient sentencing in exchange for playing ball. Might as well just make it up even further. Yeah, say you saw Obama at the pedo parties. Obama was there. You literally predicted this exact thing for the past 2 weeks nonstop. Yeah, I mean, it was getting there, and I told you we were getting there, and some of you didn't want to believe it. Some of you thought it was too far-fetched that Donald Trump would actually give a pardon to Ghislaine Maxwell in exchange for her lying about him. The only thing we can hope for here is the consistent incompetence of this administration. Okay? You've been with me along the way. You trust me so far. So trust me when I say this. I speculate that because this administration is so incompetent, they will try to do this patch-up job and they will f it up in the process. I hope. I wish. And I can totally see that happening. I'm not exactly sure how. I haven't been able to identify what the ways in which they will f it up, but I suspect that they will.
As the Justice Department seeks the release of grand jury testimony in the Maxwell and Epstein cases in New York, Maxwell's attorney said Tuesday his client opposes its release, arguing her appeal is still pending before the U.S. Supreme Court.
Lots to chew over there, Ed. And as you know, Gail will be talking with Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre's brother and sister-in-law here in studio about all of this in our next hour.
Trump's lawyers accidentally sent over plaintiff counsel the Epstein files unredacted. That's how they're going to mess it up. Yeah, I don't know how the legal system works, but I could totally see them doing something like that. They just like accidentally leak it. Dude, it could be anything. Actually, the sky's the limit. You could have a guy like Pete Hegseth, for example, working on handling these files and then accidentally loops in like a New York Times journalist or something. You know what I mean? You could have the lawyers be in a Signal group chat with like an actual journalist who will cover the story. You know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? The opportunities are endless. Anything can happen. These guys are so bad because their role in this administration is not to be the most competent. As a matter of fact, incompetence in this situation is a benefit to Trump. Their responsibility is to be loyal to Trump. So if the only thing you care about is loyalty to Trump, you're going to have a bunch of dumbasses in positions of power, and those dumbasses are going to f things up. Trump won. At the very least, still had, and this was seen as a mistake by Trump, obviously, but Trump one had like people who were competent and sometimes disloyal to Trump, because that's the delicate balance here. If you want someone who is actually good at their job, when you have a guy who's trying to break everything, you're going to speak out. You're going to leak information to the media. You're going to actively oppose Donald Trump. I mean, look at Jerome Powell. It's one of the few areas where you can't the bag up. So Jerome Powell is still operating as a totally independent person, right? Not independent in the sense of like, I mean, he's obviously predisposed to the interests of capital, but he is still playing the role he is supposed to be playing under any other administration. Trump hates that. He does not like that at all, okay? When you hire for loyalty, you are going to get a bunch of incompetent people, because you're not going to have a competent person who also will be loyal to you when you are breaking things. It's that simple. So in a way, Trump saw it as a mistake to have anyone that was like a competent figure in the previous administration, because those guys were the ones who f***ed him over in the long run. Those guys were the ones who spoke out against him. Those guys were the ones who were leaking stuff to the media. Those guys were the ones who were actually standing in opposition whenever Donald Trump wanted to molest the money, for example, or molest any number of different things in the White House. And that was a big problem. So now he's like, no, I've realized we just need to have people who also are with it. They love molestation. Yeah, Bill Barr was a Republican fixer for decades. Now he's got Pam Bondi. I still don't understand. Why would they take Trump with them to the island if they knew he does not like to be around pedophiles and was against pedophilia in general? Kind of unfair to him. Yeah, he's just small bean. He was a white hat, small bean, anti-pedophilia advocate. Trump is the real victim here. Yeah, they forced him to do it. potentially, allegedly, who knows? Except we now know that wasn't the case. I mean, Ghislaine said in the 7 million different photos you've seen of me and Trump, I only saw him do good things and no bad things at all. Not even a little bit. I'll have you know, he was shaking his head the entire time as other pedophiles were abusing little girls. He was going, like this. It's like getting caught in public reading Mein Kampf. You're like, you're reading it, but you're going like, and sometimes even waving your finger like this. That's what Trump was doing. He was like, don't do it. At a certain point, we have to measure the fuck-ups by like the actual impact, right? Trump could just be like, I'm innocent. I told Ghislaine Maxwell to literally say I'm innocent. What comes of that? What are the repercussions for Donald Trump coming out and basically being like, I told Ghislaine Maxwell to say I'm innocent in exchange for lenient sentencing, which is in my power. If he just came out and said that, what do you think would happen? Do you in your heart genuinely believe that any sort of significant repercussions would come of that? Honestly, the only way that there would be movement in a positive direction on this issue is if like people got so mad that he like openly admitted this, that there were riots on the streets and his base was participating in the riots. Okay. Only then could there be some kind of change that comes out of this, but it would not be because the Democrats have pushed for like an impeachment or something like that. As I've said it before, like we only have one another. You have no trust in liberal institutions. I mean, I want to trust them, but how can you? I feel like at a certain point, you have to be delusional to assume that like these liberal institutions are actually going to do their jobs. He has overcome all of these liberal institutions. He just keeps bouldering his way through the process, and it's not even like sophisticated or clever. The way he does it is just like so haphazard and so stupid. Everything Donald Trump does is basically exactly the way he has operated through this like Jeffrey Epstein thing, right? Just straight up being incredibly suspicious every step of the way. I mean, he came in and pardoned all the January 6th criminal, okay? Every single one. And then his administration, his lawyers in his administration actively argued that some of the January 6th defendants, like at least one, that was criminally charged, was found to be guilty of child pornography, CSAM. I don't like using CP as a term. CSAM, child sexual abuse material. And they were arguing that because that information came out in the J6 trials, that he should still be released. Like, that's psychotic. That's insane. This is perhaps the most pro-pedophilia administration that we've had ever. It's not just you, my lifelong lib teacher mom talks about how we can't rely on the Democrats anymore. No, 100%. I think the situation has gotten so out of control and the transparent graft is so undeniable and the Democrat Party's complacency is so frustrating that liberal wine moms are talking like me. At that point, we're completely off the rails. This is what I was trying to talk about the other day when I did that fundraiser, right? Where I was talking about how like people are constantly on Twitter and on TikTok more so than Twitter saying, you know, somebody's got to do it. Like that is a sentiment that has not existed in liberal collective consciousness before to this degree. That is an indication that the situation has gotten so bad that previously liberals who would otherwise say, you got to respect the institutions, like, come on now. I mean, this is the president after all. He's the one who's, you know, steering this ship and we have to respect it. Like they are saying, nah, f that. Okay. That is a call born out of desperation. In some ways, you don't have a Watergate style moment anymore because every day is 10 Watergates in general. Watergate only works if there is some kind of confidence in these institutions and like an interest by members of both parties in like holding on to institutional legitimacy. Donald Trump's entire purpose has been to say, the institutions, I do what I want. Corruption has always existed in American politics, but there's a reason why we have tried to legalize corruption in the form of lobbying. The very reason why you try to legalize it and make it, you know, by the books is so that people don't realize how corrupt the situation actually is, how corrupt our institutions actually are. When you let go of the aesthetics of like, no, this is the normal process, all of a sudden people are like, well, wait a minute, this is just criminal. This is a criminal enterprise. What the hell's going on? And people get mad. Republicans have already let go of institutional norms a long time ago. They don't give a shit. They've never given a shit. Liberals were the last bastion of institutional defense. They were the ones who did organically and legitimately believe in the infallibility of our esteemed, protected institutions that will keep society ticking. And now liberals are also losing that as well. And once the liberals no longer believe in that, it's bedlam. That's where we're at. Joe Rogan will be used to sweep the Epstein scandal. Senior Trump administration leaders are reportedly looking at using megastar podcast of Joe Rogan to help tackle lingering fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein crisis. They already have been doing that. That's why they sent Kash Patel there, and it was a spectacular failure. So much so that Joe was like, I can't do that. Not only that, but also then they had that CIA guy go on Joe Rogan and be like, Jeffrey Epstein probably was a Russian and Chinese, maybe Hamas asset. And that didn't work either. We know Jeffrey Epstein might be related to foreign intelligence, but is certainly not Chinese, okay? The foreign intelligence that Jeffrey Epstein is associated with is Israeli intelligence. Sorry, sucks to suck for you guys, but you can't get out of this situation, okay? It's just not happening.